why you're all looking at me like that, but that's fine. So, as I reflect on these 4 years, and I especially reflect upon these readings, I think about the times I've made a change in my life, and I don't want to make this too much about me, but whether it was my ordination, both my diaconate and my priesthood, and my arrival at Christ the King in Topeka, my departure from there, my arrival here, it seems like the Lord always finds a way, at least to speak to me personally, through the readings of that particular Sunday or that particular day. And I think that speaks more to the propensity of the scriptures to always speak to the human heart. It's God's revelation and his spirit that moves within us. That's really what's going on, but also just the providence that he has in that moment for those who are willing to listen to him, at least as imperfectly as I probably was at those times. And, this is obviously based nothing on the timing of my departure here, but these readings really speak to me, probably especially this second reading. It's very encouraging. This gospel, very challenging and very, revealing of a lot of our hearts, a lot of our intentions. And I really see the coming forth of things I've tried to really focus on and things that I've really had emphasized in my own priesthood, especially in canon law studies and other things. The ideas of justice, of mercy, of humility, of perseverance, and as imperfectly as I live these things out, and as every Christian hopefully can admit that they imperfectly live them out, they are still so important. Not only are they so important, but when these things are lived well, and we truly seek the Lord's grace to live out these virtues and to seek grace in the sacraments, all of them work together absolutely perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. When one good thing happens within the human heart, within our devotional life, everything else benefits as well. So many memories I could talk about from my time here, but as some of you might know, hopefully very few of you, if any, saw today. I had a funeral on Friday, and it was for somebody who I had gotten to know pretty well here over my 4 years, and he was a very, very good man. His name was Henry Wilson. Anyway, the power went out at the very beginning of this funeral. I went out to see what the situation was. I won't describe the entire goings-on. Let's just say it involved a vehicle, a power line, and lots of damage, and you would not know based on what you see out there today. Evergy and everyone did such a great job resolving it very quickly. It was an accident, of course, but nonetheless miraculous that nobody got hurt and no property was damaged. It truly was shocking that nothing bad happened. I'm ever grateful for that fact. But as one person commented throughout the whole process, because I had to talk to that diocesan attorney, and ended up being just an insurance heavyweight battle between a trucking company and an energy company. So they're used to that kind of thing. We didn't have to do too much, but just covering our bases, things like that. As I'm dealing with all these logistical things, and rather than being focused on the pastoral side of my last few days here, I remember kind of saying to God, like, well, of course this would happen in my last 5 days here. Nothing to do with, the people or anything, but administratively speaking, of course this would happen my last 5 days, an incident like this, right? And one person shared with me, well, God's hand is in it all. As I reflected on those words, I know that in my head, but as I reflect upon what that means, I think, you know what? It is true. And perhaps it's very dangerous for us to go about our day and just getting things done and very important things that need to be done, or focusing on things that need to be focused on, and it's easy to miss how God's hand was present in it all. And the obvious case in that instance was that nobody got hurt, of course, but it's not that my idea of how these things should go, or how the day should run, or how the end of my time here should be is not necessarily the same thing as what God is asking for, which is also a very important lesson within growing in humility within the church and within a devotional life to God, is that things don't always exactly go like we plan for them to go, or even how we want them to go at times. Nonetheless, if we make that effort, God will see his hand in all of it. And so I get nostalgic at moments like this, of course, and I hate it when things become about me, so I'll try not to make it like that. But as I reflect upon the many things that have happened the last 4 or so years, thinking back to, we were getting out of the pandemic times when I first arrived. That's how long or short ago, however your perspective on that might be affected. And going through all that and getting things kind of back in place, built up again, that we're kind of lost in that phase. And people, of course, as can happen in any time under any priest, people coming back to the church, celebrating weddings, doing funerals, having first communions and confirmations, hosting the bishop for those things, of course, launching certain goals for the cemetery, for the school, for the ice pantry, and really accomplishing as we look about it, it's really truly a staggering amount of things that we've accomplished together, I feel. And I'm very, very thankful to that, thankful to you all. And I know it's because you take this responsibility very seriously, but also because you genuinely want more disciples to be won over for the heart of Jesus Christ and want to live a more devout life yourself. So thank you for that. I recognize that sometimes, whether it's my personality or how things go, my dogged devotion to reverence and respect here, especially in this sacred place, but especially towards the sacraments, at times, due to my own imperfection, but also just I think the serious nature of it may come across as a bit severe, right? I think that's a fair statement to make. And I want you to know, like I said, of course, I'm an imperfect human being. I'm acutely aware of my imperfections, as are you, and I ask for your continued prayers in that regard. But I just want you to know that any of that, regardless of, hopefully some good came from it, it was 100% in terms of intent out of love for God, and most especially out of love for you all. Every single thing that I stood for, everything that I tried to emphasize in terms of living this sacramental life, adoring the Lord here in his presence, what a gift it is. There is no greater gift than what God has given to us in his Son. And there's no greater gift that we get to experience, not just every week, but even every day, than to receive this most holy Eucharist. This body, blood, soul, and divinity, this pure and perfect expression of God's love here at the altar, which then gives us the grace to go and share that love with everyone else. And as we see very clearly in these readings, I don't have time to delve into them in detail, but God's mercy and God's justice can go perfectly together, and in fact they do. Whereas the world sees a contradiction between them, we look to the cross to realize they come in their fullness together in Jesus Christ. And in the same way, or in a similar way, a welcoming heart, a welcoming spirit here in our community can go perfectly together and should go perfectly together with a reverent devotion for these most sacred mysteries. And just something I want you to reflect on, as we go forward and going past this. A word about Father Hagany. I've already mentioned that I think he'll be a tremendous success here. I've admitted that he is one of my closest friends and has been for many years, ever since my seminary days, and even a little bit before that. I know some of you already know him. He's not far away for the time being, but nonetheless, I think he has certain gifts that will benefit even more than what I did, and he'll certainly be very effective for the campaign because he's done one before. He'll be very good at, perhaps in ways that I was distracted with canon law, he'll be, I think, more present and just, he'll be very good. And I want you to know that please treat him well. And just as you were welcoming to me, and just as many friendships that I will miss dearly have been formed here, not only do I challenge you to do that for him too, but I promise you it certainly will happen. So I just want to thank you for all of that. I want you to know that I will be praying for you. And as we reflect upon these ideas of these things going together all at the same time, mercy and justice, reverence and devotion, welcoming spirit, humility, perseverance. I just want to share one of my own personal favorite lines from Scripture, which is engraved above the canon law school where I go in the summers. It's from Micah chapter 6. You know, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord ask of you, but to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.